Oh shit, it's me, Tiffany. Oh god. All right. Well, this is certainly a lot fucking later than I thought. Oh god, I am so tired. Oh shit. I don't feel good, and I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm tired. I have a headache. My feet are swollen. I am pregnant. No. No, I've just been super fucking busy at work and shit, and it's taking a toll, but that's okay. Everything's okay. I'm doing okay. Had some very good news at work today. And so don't mind my messy apartment. Don't look at that. So funny. Stop looking. Oh my god, who is she? A mess. That's who she is. Had some very good news at work today that makes me very happy. Can I like put this at like 2%? Nope. Cool. That's neat. That's neat. It's either so quiet I can't hear it, or it's way too fucking loud. There's no in between. I should just download the program. I guess technically I do have it. Hold on. Downloads. Hold on. This is fine. This is what happens. You start streaming and you do stuff that you should have done before you started streaming, but that's okay. Yes. No. Log in. Okay. Is that? No. I don't even remember my own fucking password. Oh, fuck. Yes, I am so glad that I have this. Too thinner odd head, but at the same time, I remember back in the day when we didn't even have to worry about that, and we could use like two. I don't want to. Okay, let's pause this. Let's play. Oh shit, that's way louder over here. Can I like? Nope. Well, I can close this, which is nice because it's one less browser tab, I guess. But it's so quiet now, but I can't like, how do I, where did that bumped it up to, oh, I had it at 2. Hold on. There, 2%. Stations. Neat. I can't make it any smaller than that. But that's so big. That's what she said. Wow. Okay. I guess I actually have to keep it like huge. Well, that's fine. I'll just do this. That works, I guess. Anyway, we can get rid of that. But yeah, I don't feel good today, and I'm here to relax, do a bunch of math, and get confused about it. So that's what we're gonna do today. I would lower my camera, but like there's so much stuff behind me. We're still in the process of moving into our new apartment, and it's not like, I say messy in the same fact that like it's not dirty. There's just a bunch of stuff that hasn't been put away yet. Like, for example, you can see right here, somebody who paints, that is not me, by the way, started to finally get around to putting up his paintings. And I'm happy about it because we have, shit, what did he say the other day? I think it was like 70 something. Hold on. I can check this in like 2 seconds. I'm pretty sure we have somewhere around like 73. Did he delete that? Maybe. Anyway, we have something like 73 paintings that we put up, and or not put up. We have like 77, between 70 and 80 paintings that we brought over here. But I think he counted the one day that we had moved the bulk of them. Out of the like 80 or so, we ended up moving 73 of them or something like that. So this is a very, very small selection, like literally one of the smallest. But he does sell them, or is in the process of selling them. But he wrote a book and he's trying to sell the book. So if anybody is interested in a book or some paintings or anything, by all means ask, because he is very, very happy to get rid of them. He loves them, but one, we have too many, so it's his idea, not mine, to sell them. I think they're beautiful. I would keep them, but obviously we only have so much room for stuff. But yes, no, if anybody wants to buy a painting, by all means, just fucking tell me. Anyway, I'm rambling. I've been talking for like 20 minutes. Let's go play some fucking games, shall we? Okay. I don't even remember where we're at. Hold on. I need to go here because I forgot to do something. Where is it? Whoop, whoop. Oh shit, there she is. Okay. Anyway, back to what I was doing. Game. Honestly, I don't remember where we were. I don't really like this one. Go away. Can I just like scroll that down? Boop. Sweet. Okay. I can't hear that. Is that just that quiet? Mixer. I thought I unmuted. Oh, I know why. The actual in-game audio's turned way down because I was doing something yesterday. There we go. I was showing someone something and I had to mute this. See that this song sounds really loud. I just need like a compressor or something. Or something, I don't know. I don't have an audio setup. So I kind of just have to deal and move stuff on the fly, but I don't have any tangible physical buttons and things to do that with, so it's even worse. Okay. So I do not recall what I ended up with for these. I think I need to make a building. I only have 94 plates though. Do I have more plates sitting somewhere? I doubt it. I don't. No. I don't. Oh, I do. Oh, I have a lot more stuff. Okay, let's pick all that up. And we'll just grab that anyway, because why not? And then you're just a bunch of casings. Cool. I need to figure out power, because not being able to fly really fucking sucks. Zoop. And see, now it seems really quiet again. Oh, it's because it's a new song. Ignore me. I'm really tired right now. And I just felt like streaming today. I had a bunch of corn right before I started streaming because I was hungry. What was I? Cool. Okay. Well, so, okay, here's the thing. Certain somebody who I may or may not be getting married to soon, TM, it works really late, like until 11:30/11:45 on a good day, or on like a bad day, 4 a.m. So there's really, it's very hit and miss how late he's going to be at work. And neither one of us know, like he doesn't even know until it just happens because they get busy or something like that. So he, you just got to take it as it comes. And so because of that, it's a lot harder for us to sort of plan out meals and food and stuff because, I can start cooking at 10/11 in anticipation for him coming home early, but then he doesn't come home until 4. So I have no idea how late he's going to be at work tonight. So that's why my stomach started hurting because I was really fucking hungry, which this is a thing that happens consistently. I don't know why. It started not that long ago. But I get like horrible stomach pains when I'm hungry, and only when I'm hungry. And so I have to sit there and like figure out something to eat before I feel like I'm gonna throw up, which is gross. I know. But We're here to share all of our secrets. If you guys want to know my social or like my credit card information, just ask as well, because like she's available. Not me. I'm not available. I'm taken, but you know, it happens. I feel like I'm way too quiet. I can see what's going on with my audio, but I feel like it's not quite where I want it to be. But anyway, oh shit. Okay, so the whole reason of me doing what I'm doing right now is to plan out the power situation, because it's really starting to get annoying not being able to fly and plan this place out. I feel like I have a slight lisp and I don't know why. And so what we're gonna do is very quickly get this taken care of. Let's see. No, it seems to be okay. Sorry, I'm using Pretzel for the first time. Not technically the first time, but it's the first time that I actually have the like actively using it or whatever you want to say. So I'm just trying to see how it is going and what the music levels and stuff are. I don't really care for this one. I have like a internal set of guidelines for music, and it's not quite being met, which is okay. Not mad about it. I'm furious about it. Boo, boo, boo. So, potentially good or bad news? Not really sure. Well, I ended up getting a bunch of like some really, really, really good news at work today, but we're not going to talk about that right now because it's not important to what I was just about to say. But I have all next week off, and barring any complications, I should be able to stream at least a couple of times, because I don't know what's going on. So I wake up and I'm confused like every day. No, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what Husbando's plans are for stuff, especially with me being off so much. And so maybe I'm definitely gonna try. I'm gonna try to sort that out. We have this thing, and he's told me before, he said it's totally okay for you to stream while I'm home. And I'm like, cool, but not gonna happen. At least not anytime soon. Not until we move, because I look like I'm fucking like hunched over. You know, let's sit up properly. Let's bring this way and we'll do this. It's my chair's like not in a good spot, and I'm like sitting on my legs funny. So I know what to do. I need to let's go like this. Does anybody want to buy me a new chair? Because this chair is busted as fuck. Oh god, my legs. Okay, but so he does this thing, and I'm not complaining by any means. This is just me explaining stuff. He does this thing where, and he's gotten better about it, and I say better in that like he doesn't do it as much. And I'm not annoyed. This is gonna be, I'm gonna sound like an ass, and that's all I'm gonna say. When I'm on the computer doing stuff, when I'm talking to somebody, or when I'm doing something that involves me needing to take my focus from everything around me, he would come up to me. Oh, hey, it's not actually that bad. He would come up to me and start doing stuff. And I don't mean like stuff. I just mean he would come up to me and like give me a back rub, or then he would start talking to me, or he would need my attention. And up until that point, it was like I didn't exist. And again, I don't mean that in a bad way. He was just off doing his own thing. But for some reason, as soon as I need, you know, me time or whatever, it's, you know, very, very suddenly, he needs attention. And so, he's gotten to the point where he doesn't do it as much because I've talked to him about it. I'm just like, hey, I love you. Not complaining. It's not that I want you to like stop or anything, but I just want you to be aware if I'm doing something, just be conscious of what you're doing. I'm not really sure how to say it without sounding like a dick, but because we don't get a lot of time together, so I feel bad doing stuff when he's here. Like I work from home, and so I get the house to myself, and so that's why I'm like, I feel bad when he's home and I'm doing stuff. But he's like, no, you can stream, and stuff on the weekends and whatever. And I'm like, no, but like, that's our time, that's the time that we get together. And so when he works every so often on a Saturday at his second job, which is just for fun, I can stream, and those are usually my morning streams on Saturdays. But like evenings, he's, I have the apartment to myself from like, I mean, I get off work at 5 and he leaves usually at 3:30. So from like 3:30, 4 o'clock to, 11:30 or so at night, I have the apartment to myself. But then it's like, well, oh my God, my chest hurts. I really don't feel good today, but it's okay. I'm okay. It's okay. That's when I need to do stuff like cleaning and getting my stuff, my ducks in a row, and paying bills, whatever. I know that you don't do that every day, but I just mean like that's my time to do me stuff. And so it's not too often that I get the chance to stream. And I've had this thing. I mean, it's always been there as I've streamed and stuff, but it's been definitely an issue the last couple of years, especially when we moved to our smaller apartment that we just moved out of. I have this internal like quality requirement or whatever you want to call it, or like quality standards. And if I don't meet those standards, I don't want to stream. And what I mean by that is, what is my energy levels? Because streaming takes a lot out of me, even if nobody's here. I just feel like there's so much going on because I have a lot of focus on like pay attention if anybody's here, and I also have to talk about stuff all the time. But I get am I in a good headspace to stream? Do I even want to stream? Which that want is usually there, but the problem ends up being that I don't have the mental capacity or like the energy battery or whatever you want to say, social battery, whatever, to do it. And I feel like if I was to stream during that time, it would feel so forced and it wouldn't be entertaining because it wouldn't be true to myself. Not that, but I just don't think I would be able to have this sort of baseline energy, because like right now I'm doing kind of like a chill stream or whatever, at least for me. And I love doing these. They make me happy. They make me I like doing these more because it's like I can just kind of relax, but I'm also feel like I'm still putting out a certain baseline amount of energy and focus and effort into streaming. And you don't constantly have to do that. Hi, Gee. I don't like this song. It's 10 minutes long. You dislike this track. Let me dislike this one too. Oop. Anyway. But also like I get sort of self-conscious about how does everything look behind me, and I feel a little more comfortable without a green screen, and I think I'm gonna try to like lean into that, which is ironic because I spent a lot of money on a green screen not too long ago, but I just don't have the stuff to make green screens work, and I'm fine not having one because of that. I'd sooner just be able to stream in general instead of have to sit there and be like, oh my God, does the green screen look good and blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to do it more consistently. Also, I'm going to steal your fucking cat. I'm going to steal her. It's going to happen. Are you bringing her when you come to visit? Because, like, you totally could. The only thing is we have a snake plant, and those are toxic to kitties. But if you do bring her, that just means we'll have to keep an eye on her. I'm glad you're stabbing again. Yes, vicious murderer am I. Tiffany does math while stabbing. Because I asked Jared, he said it's totally okay. We just want to make sure your cat doesn't like get sick from eating a plant. Because like you can see them right here. It's this specific one right here. We have this one and then one just out of frame. Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's totally up to you. Jared's like totally down for that. So like if you didn't want to try to figure out like somewhere for her to stay, it's totally cool with us. Like I would probably cry because I just love cats so much. I love animals in general so much, but it's totally up to you. We're not gonna, you know, I'm excited. Can you believe it's so close though? Like it's like, God, how far away is that? Hold on. Shut your whore mouth. Dude, that's literally, you're gonna be here next week. I'm not even kidding. You're gonna be here next Saturday. What the fuck? Have you figured out if he's coming or not? I need to figure out what to get you for Christmas. And I know that sounds terrible. Like, I haven't bought you anything for Christmas, but like, would you want one of Jared's paintings? I know that sounds like really stupid because like it's not like a real gift, but also at the same time, like he wants to get rid of them. And I don't know what else to get you. Oh, you don't have to give me anything for Christmas since you've been doing the wedding gift thing. I'm gonna, you know, I'm just gonna buy you a bunch of cat treats, and you'll be like, "Oh my god, these are for my cat," and I'll be like, "No, they're for you. These are yours. This meow mix is yours." Oh, he has small ones that are like this big. Like he has tiny ones. These are just as big bitches. Here, let me switch cameras. These are just as big bitches. He has smaller ones. Like, is there any within reach? No, there's not. Take a teeny one. He might. I mean, he might. I'll have to. He's totally down to get rid of them. So. You have to pay for it. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I'm sure I can find something. It just, that hasn't like crossed my mind at all because I've been so focused on like other shit, like getting married and moving and all that stuff. By the by, I have all of next week off. So, that's cool. But I'm getting it. It's off paid, by the way. It's paid off. Oh no, you don't have to buy one. I'm just like, in general, he is trying to sell them. So like, if your parents want to buy one. I have all of next week off paid, and I got a raise at work, and it's a pretty substantial one. Like 35%. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but like that's so much. That is so much. I'm getting, my like boss's boss told me too, and she's like, it's a lot. It's so much. I am still poor, and I'm still going to be very poor because the pay that I had before was just not that great, but it's a raise that makes me a lot less stressed. Because without getting too much into it, we're paying rent at 2 places this month, and it's very scary. It's totally up to you if you want him to come. I mean, what? It'll take like 30 seconds. No, I just, since it's getting so close, if you just want to figure out so we can like plan, I mean, if he doesn't want to come, that's totally fine. Like, I am in the nicest way that, and this is going to sound really shitty, I'm indifferent to whether or not he comes, only because like you're going to be here and that's really all I care about. So that, and I don't mean that in a mean way. It's cool either way. I need to ask and totally understand from review. I mean, it'd be like if Jared was to come with me to see you. Like, I'm sure you wouldn't care either way. You'd just be like, okay, whatever. But no, if I'm keeping you, by all means, go have fun or whatever. I don't want to like occupy your time. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Have fun. I will talk to you on Snapchat. So my beautiful overlay text on my face. Who is she? Distracting. Oh. So I'm just gonna pretend you're gone now. So I'm just gonna talk about other stuff. I need to sort out my see, this is kind of like, I like this. This is good. Anyway, I need to sort out closed captions. It's a thing I don't really know what to do about that, because I've seen quite a few 6 at 100%, 1 at 40. One of the, oh no, this is radios. Heavy frame. 16 a minute radio. Oh no, 6 of these at 100%, one of them at 40. Cool. Because if I go 40, that's 1. Because 6. Oop. 2.5 times 6, 15. Yeah, that works. That works perfectly. But no, I need to sort out closed captions because they are a thing that I've seen pretty frequently around Twitch, and I don't want it to be like, oh, I have to do them because everybody else is doing them or something. I just feel it's something that is obviously needed for those who are who need them. It's needed for those who need them. But no, it's definitely, you know, there is a need and a want for those, and I feel like I should oblige to include those, because I feel a little shitty not having them, but I just don't know how. I'm sure it's something that's very quick and easy to set up. I just need to do it, I guess. I've been so deep into trying to fix other stuff. It's something that keeps, I know about it. I keep it in the back of my head, and I just keep forgetting about it, and it's dumb. But you know, I redid my overlays. I have my lights, just these two for now. I don't really know what more I can do with those, at least with my current setup, and it's something that I can keep in mind for the future. But have the lights set up, got all new alerts, new overlays. I switched from Streamlabs to Stream Elements. I'm trying Pretzel, trying out new music as well. And I did big news, huge. I set up a VODs channel, and I know no one's probably gonna watch it. I have everything private right now because I just need to I need to figure out what I want to do about like thumbnails and stuff. I might just leave them. I might not worry about them, because That's a lot of work. If I'm streaming every day, that means I have to make a new thumbnail every day, and I feel like eventually I'm going to run out of ideas, and so I kind of might just leave it. I might just leave them with like their generic ones, or I might design one that I put like the date on or something, you know, like my logo or my face or something with like the date, or like the, you know, this one's Satisfactory. So I might take one of my shit, not that. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh shit, hold on. Let me boop boop boop. There we go. How do I look at my screenshots? View screenshots, delete. Current session, Satisfactory. You know, I might take one of these screenshots or something that I have. I mean, they're really hard to see. There, you know, I might take something like this or one of these that I've taken. Oh wow, that one's actually kind of pretty. But I might take one of these and use them and just put like a date or something simple, you know, something really simple, something easy that I don't have to like worry about. And I know that sounds kind of shitty, but like I made it to have stuff there, not only for those who want it, because I watch a lot of VODs. Like I don't go to streams live very often, if at all, except for I will jump in, I will, you know, put some emotes out that say like sup or hello or something like that, and then I'll usually dip because the ads, I don't really care for the ads, but also I like watching VODs because I can pause them, and I'm too anxious to really like talk to people live, and if a streamer's not small enough that I can talk to them kind of like one-on-one, or not necessarily one-on-one, not like one-on-one, but like I like the smaller ones because hold on, my mod just sent me a Snapchat. New bed. But I like having the smaller communities, which is ironic because I would prefer to be like a bigger streamer, but who doesn't want to be famous? I just I feel like there's a certain level of streamers, or whatever you want to say, that at a certain point you sort of lose the intimacy. Sounds so sketchy, but I feel like people kind of get what I'm trying to say here. It's they get big enough that, you know, you aren't able to really talk to them, and the chat more so becomes its own like self-sustaining entertainment system thing, whatever. And then the streamer kind of does their own thing while occasionally peeking in and making comments on typically moderator stuff or VIPs, but then every now and then they'll say something that like a longtime subscriber or something will type in chat. So it sort of, they reach this like tipping point where the chat becomes its own entity, and it's not a bad thing, but it feels weird talking in chat about something other than what the streamer's doing, but the streamer's not necessarily involved in the conversation in chat. So there's this weird disconnect. And I'm not complaining. It's just that's not what I want, and that's not for me, and that's okay. I prefer the ones that are a little bit smaller, and that's where I've met a lot of my friends and stuff. God damn it, I did it again. And so those are usually the types of streams that I will actively participate in. I do watch a lot of moderately big streams and stuff. And that's where I get a lot of my inspiration from. A lot of the quality stuff I get from there. God, kind of like the, oh, they do this, then, that in it, I like how that looks or how that sounds or whatever. And then so I will try to replicate it in a way that fits my stream, if that makes sense. So like, I heard a bunch of people were switching over to Stream Elements, and for reasons that I'm not going to talk about, everybody should kind of know why. And if you don't, just Google it. It's fine. It's nothing. It's not that bad, but it's still bad enough. And I wasn't comfortable after hearing what happened, so that's why I also switched. But I see some of the things that they do, some of the ways that they lay out their streams, and and that's where I saw the idea of like, oh, quite a few people use the most recent subscriber, which I don't have subscribers, so I do followers, or the most recent tips and or donations or whatever, and a lot of people have been switching over to Pretzel because it's safe for streaming music and stuff. And so that's why I've taken those things and I'm like, oh, hey, that works for them. I really like what they are doing, or I like how their streams are. I think it would be a great idea to accommodate that into mine as well. And so I will take the idea of showing the most recent followers and subscribers, and then I'll make it fit and make it my own version in my stream and overlay and stuff. And I think this is funny. I think this chat on my face is funny. I know a lot of people probably think it's stupid or whatever, but I think it's funny, and I'm gonna keep it, at least for now. But also, people don't really talk in chat that much. I don't usually get a lot of viewers, and that's cool. Not complaining, just expressing or explaining. But sorry, I'm saving. It's taking forever. So like, I'm totally okay with it kind of doing that, because it's not gonna move. And even if I was one of those streamers that had like a bunch of people in chat and stuff, I would probably still do this because it's stupid in the best way. Let's see, save games. I need to look up a map so I can kind of plan where I'm going, because I'm pretty sure the quartz is right over there, and then I know the caterium's like right over there. So do I want to place it like here in the middle? Or do I want to do two separate things? I'm probably... Yeah, the middle is probably my best bet. So is this... This isn't the middle. So let's find the edge, which is right here. Go like this. Okay, so this whole thing is how big? And I'm probably going to move the train station. 23? So let's cut 10 off of each side. So there's 10. This one's the middle. Okay, let's just use this one. And we'll go from here. Let me see. Okay. I can't believe it's already 10 o'clock. Wow. I've already been streaming for 40 some minutes. God, I really wanted to start streaming hours ago, but I really didn't feel good. I feel fine now. I took some more drugs. Out of context, that's going to sound wonderful. I took some ibuprofen because I had a headache. It's pretty common for me to get headaches and fatigue. I had a big problem with it before, back in I guess it started before 2015, but this is when I found out what was causing it. And I'm not gonna get into it too much. I have a genetic thing with my thyroid, and it sucks, but it's fine. It's literally fine. Like now. It wasn't at the time, but it's okay now. It's been mostly sorted out. I say mostly because it's, I have to go to a doctor to get it checked up and stuff. And I don't have health insurance because America is wonderful, and I can't afford health insurance because, again, America is wonderful. Even with this raise, by the way, I'm not gonna... Don't tell anybody I got a raise. It's like secret. No, I'm not kidding. It's kidding. Everybody in my department is getting one because they realized it was just time. It was time. I'm not really gonna like get too much into it, but long story short, they realized that inflation had really hit a place, and the overall pay for the job hadn't been adjusted for a couple of years, and so it was just time. And so they made that call, and now everybody's getting bumped up to a pretty good baseline, and I'm happy with it. It's going to make things a lot more comfortable. I am still by no means capable of being egregious with my spending, but not that I would anyway. I saw an interesting thing today, so let's talk about this. It was like something along the lines, I think it was on Reddit, I believe. And it was like, what would you do if you woke up tomorrow with Jeff Bezos's net worth of like 200 and some billion dollars? But I think the question is a little awkward, because people see net worth, and that's not actually how much money that person has. And I don't know the specifics of it, but I do know that net worth is not the same as how much you actually have in like a bank account. And I don't really want to know. I don't care enough to get into the specifics of that. In like, I do a lot with my job with like invoices and money and all that stuff. It's complicated, and I don't want to know the specifics of it because it's not necessary for what I do. But anyway, let's assume Jeff Bezos has like $2 billion, or let's assume that he actually has that $200 billion in a bank account, or multiple bank accounts, whatever. Because when you're rich, you don't want it all in one place. You want to split that bitch up. So let's assume that he really does have all that money physically located, or digitally located if you want to do like online banking stuff. What would you do with that money? Well, personally, I don't really know. Charities are one thing that I feel are wonderful. There just are ones that are not, and it would be very, very hard to sort of personally sort that out. I would need someone to help me with that. But if you have $200 billion, shit, yeah, you could. You could pay someone to do that for you. But I think a good chunk of it should go to charities of some kind. And then a good chunk of it should go to paying people in the government to actually fucking do something. I'm kidding, by the way. Don't. We're not going to talk about politics. I'm just going to briefly touch on politics. I don't have any specific affiliation, I guess, maybe quite. I think abortion should be legal for any reason at all. Like, if you just don't want to have a kid, cool, just go get an abortion. That's not my judgment, or not my call. I'm not a girl, not the woman. I can't have kids because I can't get pregnant, and so it's not my business, and it's quite frankly nobody else's business except for the person who is potentially getting the abortion, and that's how I see that. But when it comes to other stuff, I think healthcare should be free. I think college should be free, because why, at the bare minimum, even if we sort of skirt around the idea of like, oh, healthcare or college shouldn't be free because you're going out of your way to get additional knowledge. Like, we're gonna ignore that part. We're not gonna touch on that really quick. We're gonna talk about the healthcare part. if I get sick right now, and I mean like quite literally today, if I was to get sick, I would have to just put up with it or die. And I know that sounds insane and that sounds nuts, but I cannot afford to go to a hospital, and I don't have anybody who can assist me with that either. And I don't mean that nobody's willing to help me. It's just shit's expensive, and I would hate to put any level of monetary dependencies on others, like friends, family, stuff like that. And I know that sounds weird considering I share responsibilities with the husband, but you know, we sort of have like an agreement, you know, you pay your share, I pay my share, blah, blah, blah. And that's a little more comfortable. I still feel a little awkward about it sometimes, but it's whatever. But I hate relying on other people for stuff. I love helping other people, and that can be a problem. And so, you know, I can't afford to go to a hospital because I don't want to put the burden of me being sick on somebody else's shoulders, you know. And I know I can't help being sick. I can't help getting in an accident or whatever unless, you know, I was dumb and like drunk driving or something, which I don't drink alcohol that much. Like the last time I drank was on Thanksgiving, and I had like a glass of wine. You know, it's not something I do. And so I think I'm gonna run this way. But anyway, long story longer, it's, you know, some stuff just isn't for me, and that's okay. Oh, I know what I can do. But the point that I was trying to say is completely lost because I forgot what I was talking about. I do this all the time. I'll be talking about something and it'll completely just go out my brain. We're talking about money. If I get sick, I can't go to a hospital. I just have to die. Because the thing that got me sick back in 2015, which still technically is around on some level, I just don't know how bad because I can't go to a hospital to get it checked out. I had some heart problems and ended up in the hospital for one night. I went to the ER in the middle of the day. Actually, it was like 4 p.m. But I went to the hospital, and the ER trip that I was driven to by my brother, not an ambulance, the ER trip plus less than just an overnight stay, it was less than 24 hours that I was in the hospital, after insurance cost me $3,000. I didn't have any medical procedures other than a chest x-ray, and that was it. No MRI, no, you know, actual like surgeries or anything like that. I was just given a heart monitor, and then they did do an EKG, but again, I was EKG, chest x-ray, and then a heart monitor, and then spending less than 24 hours in the hospital cost me $3,000 after insurance. And that is why I cannot get sick anymore, because I don't make that much a month. You know, I make that in 2 months, maybe. It sucks, but it is what it is. Technically I'm still old enough to be on my family's insurance, but they are a wee bit estranged, and that's fine. My father is the only one who actually has insurance, because my mom has a job where she doesn't get insurance. She gets it through my stepfather, and I don't believe I would be eligible to be on his. I don't know the specifics, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to. But I would also feel weird about it, and not because like we don't get along. It's just it's different when it's not like your own like biological, because my biological dad is still alive and like fully functional. I just want to say it feels weird when my dad is the one who could, I could be on his, but instead I'm on my stepdad's. Like it feels like the burden, and being handed off because somebody else doesn't want to deal with it, kind of a thing. And that's weird to say, but like that's how it feels, and that's kind of how it's been, when I was growing up and stuff. And I can talk about that another time. But I also don't have like the best relationship with my stepdad because he's kind of an ass. Even my mom agrees that he's kind of an ass, but like he's quiet, so like it doesn't matter. He doesn't cause that many problems, I guess. He's not going out of his way to be a dick. He just is kind of abrasive sometimes, and it's whatever. But like the hope is that I'm not legally married yet. Just want to say that's my mod. Smorshili is going to be here next Saturday, and I'm so beyond excited. I just wish that she was too. She's not as excited as I am for her to be here. She's like, ew, gross. I have to go to that like asshole's house. No, but I'm excited because she is going to be a witness at my wedding. She's going to be she's legally going to sign the document, because we're not getting married in a church or anything. We are just, we're just going to get eloped or whatever you want to say. We're just going to sign the legal documents and call it a day. We might have something bigger in April when that is both of our birthdays. His is on the 17th and mine's on the 22nd. So our birthdays are very close together, which is nice because we can kind of plan stuff better that way. We can take, like, for example, we are thinking about doing something that weekend. We just don't know if we want to do the weekend of his birthday or the weekend of mine, because I think his birthday falls on like a Sunday next year. And mine falls on like a Friday or something like that. Let me kill this thing and then I'll check. There we go. Let's check. It's 12, 22, 21. February, March, April. So yeah, his is on a Sunday and then mine's on a Friday. So we might do something that Friday where we have, his family or we might get together with his family and not necessarily do like a wedding or something, but maybe like a small sort of like pseudo reception thing where we just get a bunch of people together and we have food and stuff. And so we just aren't sure what we want to do, but we do know we want to do something, and we want to be careful because we've had Miss Rona and she really fucked us up. Shit, I'm gonna have to reload. She really messed us up, and that was one of the points I was going to get to before. I did have some health issues back in 2015, but when I had the virus back at the end of 2020, it also sort of ravaged not only me, but also my fiance, and he probably should have been in the hospital. We were not eligible for the vaccine either because it wasn't out yet, or we weren't considered at risk or something. Like we couldn't get it. We wanted to get it, but we just weren't able to get it. And so, this is fine. So we just weren't able to get the vaccine. And so unfortunately, we got sick. And I fully blame myself for it because I at the time was working at a job that did require me to be around people. And then I ended up losing that job because I took 2 weeks off to be sick. And legally I was allowed to do that, but I also legally live in a state where you are legally allowed to let somebody go for no reason at all, and they utilize their legal right to get rid of me. So, which is fine. It's been over a year since I, haven't been working there. It was December 17th. It's quite literally been over a year. But that company, while they are doing okay financially, I think a lot of the people that I worked with there who were really nice people don't work there anymore because they, it's a revolving door industry to begin with, but the company I worked for, it was sort of made it a much higher revolving door, or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, I was sick. He was sick. It was really bad, and we're lucky it wasn't worse. We're lucky that we didn't end up in the hospital, even though, again, we probably should have been. At least he should have been, because he got really, really sick. Oh God, can I kill this thing? There we go. But yeah, we're fine now. He definitely has some long-term symptoms that have been kind of fucking him up, and to some extent I have as well. His are a lot worse, and I think it's because he got a lot sicker than I did, but he also has like allergies and other stuff that sort of messed with him before, and we kind of found out he has a heart thing. It's benign, like it's not a problem, and as far as we're aware, it's not gonna be a problem, but it's kind of like, it's the equivalent of like a birthmark. Birthmarks don't cause any problems. It's just, it's a thing that's there, or like an extra toe or something. It's not a problem. It doesn't cause any problems. It doesn't make anything bad. It's just it's just a thing. And so we don't know if the heart thing was did potentially make things worse, or maybe it wasn't related at all. We don't know. So much of this stuff is just kind of up in the air, or whatever you want to say. Like, this, people just don't know, they don't know, and you can't expect people to figure that stuff out so quickly. It took how many years to get so much stuff sorted out with other consistent diseases and viruses, like the flu virus is probably never going to be cured or whatever, because viruses work differently than like a regular sickness. But without getting too much into semantics and all that fun jazz, this might be too close. Hold on, I might have to pull this back like one production. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this back just one, just to kind of give a little bit more breathing room. But anyway, I forget what my point was. Oh, he had some, he was dealing with some long-term symptoms that were a lot worse than the ones that I have. Mainly being like dizziness, forgetfulness, or whatever you want to say, like these sort of blackout moments, passing out, rarely. It only happened like 2 or 3 times, but it did happen. And so stuff like that. And it's very scary. He was in the hospital 6 times last year, in the ER. Didn't spend the night in any of the times, thankfully, but it's expensive. And even with because he has insurance, he's at a job where he can afford it. But that's why we're hoping in January that I can get added to his, which ironically is going to be half as much for both of us than it would have been for just me at my job. I don't know, it's weird. But he, he's doing better. We are hoping so much to get our boosters soon, because when we got our vaccinations the first time, which we got back in June or July, I forget which one, we actually felt better, like a lot better. We got a little icky feeling for a couple of days. Like slight headaches, more so than normal, of course, because I've had almost daily headaches since I got sick over a year ago, I should say. And fatigue problems. And I've kind of always had those issues because of my health problems that I had back in 2015. Which again, those started before 2015, but that's just kind of when everything sort of came to a peak, I guess is a good way to explain it. But, which is why for quite some time there, one of the things that I was doing quite a bit was streaming, because it sort of helped me fill in that, time of being physically unable to have like a standard job, because I was working in fast food, and it was hard to work more than just a couple of hours at a time. And so I worked 16 hours a week, and then I spent the rest of my time streaming. And I had been streaming already for 2 or 3 years at that time, and so it was just nice. It was nice to be able to focus on streaming, and I really want to get back to it, because oddly enough, those were some of the happiest times that I've had, was streaming and around that time, because I was able to focus so much on it. But we felt so much better after our boosters, after the first day or two of kind of feeling just like like the flu or cold or whatever. And again, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty okay. Definitely would rather do that, every couple of months than A, die, or B, ever go through what we went through when we got sick, because it was pretty bad. We want to get our boosters. We just haven't been able to. We've been so busy with, we've been moving for like a month now at this point, because we were fortunate enough to be able to move very slowly. And so it wasn't a rush, but like every weekend, we'd go and do just a little bit at a time. And, how are you feeling? Are you exhausted or whatever? And, then he would, he'd be like, oh, I don't have the energy to keep going. So, let's take a break. 22.5. 3 minus 80, 12.75 or 12.5. Oh shit, I'm gonna have to. Okay. Anyway, so it's been a lot. It's been a lot of work, and so we just have to sort out a time to do it, and hopefully sooner than later, just because we're way past that 6-month mark. So it'll be nice to get the, at the bare minimum, the reassurance that we are safe to continue doing our stuff. Let's see, 20.8. So let's just do, to be able to go outside again. And I'm not really one, so we'll do 21 for this, by the way. I'm not really one to 3 plus 21. Oh, 133. Cool. I think for the sake of this, I need to go get more of these, because I don't think, yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and get more of these, so we'll go do that really quick and then we'll come back over here. Boop. Oh shit, not what I wanted. I don't really know how much quartz I need. I kind of do, but I also have to think about another aspect of the production line. I only have one part of it in mind, and I have to remember that I need it for computers, I think it was. We'll get to the math in a second, but basically I need like 130 something. 37.5 times 3 plus 21. Yeah, it's 133.5. So we'll just do roughly, because it's so, I hate the numbers in this on certain things. Like, why does it have to be 37.5 or whatever? You know, I don't like those weird, I wish they would just kind of round it out or whatever. And I know the point is probably to push people to do not only math but also kind of get more creative with their layouts and stuff, but whatever, it just adds a weird level of complexity that I personally don't like, but you know, some people might, and that's okay. Not everybody has the same sort of views for this game in particular, and that's one of the things that's so great about it. So I just need to go like this, and then I need to figure out this over here. I'm gonna have to go back and get like a bunch more of those encased industrial beams, and I still need to sort out what I'm gonna do about, oh, it's right there. What I'm gonna do about the heavy modular frames, because I'm gonna need 8 of those a minute, and that's not a ton, but I feel like it's enough to be a problem. Now that I have power, this might be too close. Oh, nope. We'll worry about that in a second. How much Caterium do I need? I did the math for this the other day, and I wish I would have wrote it down. 224 times 12. Boop. Divided by 15 times 45. 134 a minute. Which means ever so slightly overclocked. Cool. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna need more because I'm gonna need them for, I'm gonna need more of those things because I'm gonna need it for, well, this, and then I'll need the other one for the quartz. Cool. Cool. I don't even know what I was talking about because I've been talking and rambling for hours, talking about all kinds of random stuff. I've actually been streaming for just over an hour. I'm gonna take a really fast break. So let me do this. Let's go like this. And let's jump to this screen really quick. I'm gonna go take a quick break, stretch, get another water, and then I will be right back. Oh shit, muted myself. Anyway, I have returned. As you can see, dude, my hair is something else. I can't even get it cut because I can't afford to. which is a little messed up, but you know, we're paying rent at 2 different places right now, and so I am just waiting to see how much rent is going to be between the two places before I make that call. I want to get it cut before I get married because I don't want photos of me to be like, yeah. It just needs to be cleaned up. It's just, it looks good when she cuts it. And then after, 2.5, 3 weeks, because it grows so fast, it just sort of, see like this little hair right here and stuff. It just grows so fast that at a certain point, it just sort of starts falling apart. See, like this right here is all weird, and I don't know. She does a great job cutting it. It just grows funny, and I just at a certain point, it just stops looking as nice as it did before. So, but with that, let's get back to the game. There we go. My face is nice and covered up. This is where we are meant to be. So I need to get encased industrial beams and the regular ones. Oh, I need to figure out. We'll run up to a manufacturer and check. Because I need 8 of these a minute. And so I need to sort out, is there like coal nearby resource nodes? Because I need iron. Okay, there's iron nearby. What about coal? Where's the closest coal? Oh, actually, that's Caterium, iron. Oh, how do I turn off fog? Sorry, I'm looking at a map. Okay, so if we go here, show you what I'm looking at. Right here? Yeah. So right over here, just out of, I had this whole thing unlocked and a bug happened. Now I can't see anything, but just out of frame over here, there's a ton of coal and iron. And so I might be able to set up something over there. Either I take my trains and go north because it's like in there, or because I could do that, I could just cut straight north between this waterfall right through here, which is fine. It might get a little dicey because of all of the trees, or I could cut north over here maybe. There's not really like a good path through there, but I kind of have to do something. And I think if I look right here, you can't really see on here because it doesn't show, but I might be able to bring a train. Well, because I can put stuff like right over here, and I can have like the factory hidden back in through here. I'm not a huge fan of this area. It's a little too complicated. I think it looks okay. I think they need to redo these right through here. Like these branches just look kind of funky. Because see, this is like terrain, and then there's like, I don't know. It is okay. I can tell it's definitely not finished. And that's fine. I love this game. I think they've done so many great things with it. And so I'm excited to see what they do in the future. It's a little awkward to try to build through here, though. So I think I'll have to figure something out. Because I don't want to have, like, turns and turns and turns and turns and turns. Just to wiggle my way back through there. And I don't want to set up more drones. Because then I'd have to figure out, well, how the fuck am I going to get power back there? And so that's why I have trains set up everywhere, and I can't really, I have like a train line right through here, but that's so far to try to stretch that. And then it's going to have to go all the way around. And yeah, I just need to sort something out. Cause that's the closest for what I would need. Otherwise I would have to go. No, that's really far. I don't want to go down that far. The other place that I would go is either to the desert over here, because there's a bunch of coal kind of scattered along here. But then I'd have to transport it from all the way over here to all the way down here, and then the other one is down here, which is just as far. So the closest is literally right up here, and so I will have to sort that out. And I'm not going to worry about it this second. We'll come to that bridge when we get to it. We'll burn that bridge when we try to cross it. I don't know. But I just need to go up to one of these manufacturers really quick. I need to double check. I need to double check what is produced by one of these, because I'll do this one. 2.8. Yeah, see, this is gonna get really complicated really fast. I don't even know if I'll have enough iron to do this. Is that because how pure? Well, there's a bunch of coal, iron, and there's a bunch of pure iron nodes. Okay. Is there... The only thing I don't know is concrete, and I'm pretty sure that's just all over fucking hell. Oh yeah, there's a pure concrete node or limestone node over there. So yeah, it'll be fine. It'll all work out. I'm trying really hard to do these little like spread out factories because I notice when I go, or in the past, I guess it's not really a problem anymore, and the game's been optimized a ton too, so it's helped. When I go to like my main area, the frames drop, or at least they used to quite a bit. It's gotten better, like I said, but I would rather not have that problem. Plus, I don't really want to have to bring a ton of resources to one location and then try to sort that out. It's easier, at least with my freaking ADD, to sort of block things out or sort them like one at a time. This game is so loud. I wish there was an option to turn trains down because they are so loud. We're just gonna do this. We're just gonna turn the game down till we get to the place I'm trying to go. Because if I go here, I don't think there's one for a train. Geothermal, nuclear, hypertube, factory, cart, tractor, truck. Yeah, see, no train. Drone, miner, power, water, oil, pipeline and pumps. So nothing there. Music, effects, consumables. Like, what if I... Yeah, see, the train's in there. It's just... They're so loud. But if I turn this down, then everything else is also really quiet. Like, this is where I want the volume to be at all the time. At all the time. Yes. But also having these little satellite factories or whatever you want to say, not only does it help just in terms of organization, but I also, as much as I love how this looks, I love the idea of having stuff spread out, like seeing that way over there, and you can't really tell from here, but there's some other stuff like over there, and I like having stuff spread out like that, and it's easier not only just for my stupid brain, but also like the uranium node's way over there. It's easier for me to take everything here and process it and have the nuclear or the radiation problem be over here. And because like I tote oil from here all the way down here. That's so far. And then also now I have to set up like a whole bunch of stuff over here. I should have put a bunch of stuff up here and toted the oil and rubber and stuff, or the rubber and plastic back. But I mean, it's whatever. Like I have my fuel set up and stuff over here. I'm not going to change that anytime soon. But what I've been doing is I took all of my nuclear stuff way over here because this is where there's a ton of water. And I see a lot of people build back here, so I kind of wanted to do something different and partially regret it only for the fact that this area is so buggy and I would hate for them. And I'm pretty sure they are going to at some point redo it on some level, and I'm going to hate it because I'm built perfectly on the water. And so I hope if they do make any changes, it's not adding more biomes or something over there. Again, as much as I would love more stuff, I just want more. Like, this game is so great, I would love more. But like, this area I think is supposed to get a lot of work. This area stretches through here. I know this whole biome up here is supposed to get redone. Parts of this are getting redone, so I'm just a little cautious of where I'm building and stuff. But I plan to put this over here because I'm like, oh, there's gonna be so much radiation, and I'm mostly gonna be over here, like on the complete opposite side of the map. And I've been lucky enough because there's a bunch of water over here, but I've been lucky enough that a lot of the resources that I do need are nearby. So there's like iron and copper and concrete and stuff to be brought over here. And there's my little aluminum setup thing right here that I'm trying to get stuff set up for so that I can make plutonium fuel rods to be produced and gotten rid of over here. So that's what this whole thing is for. Like, this whole thing that I'm doing right now is just so that I can get rid of nuclear waste, because I don't want to turn my things back on. I turn them on only nuclear power plants. I turn them on only to sort of alleviate some of the stress that was being put on them by my fuel generators having some issues, which I have since sorted out, thankfully. But it was definitely a problem for a little bit of time there where, yeah, see, look how slow this is. This is going to be such a pain in the ass. It was definitely a problem for a while there that oh God, am I even going to be able to? I don't think I am. I'm going to have to go down here. I don't think I have enough to do what I need to do. I need to come over here and grab some of these though for now. So I might just use these temporarily until I figure out the exact number that I need, but we'll get to that in a second. See, like, I have this all set up, but I never finished it. Like, it was supposed to be a fully functional this, but this just isn't working. I deposit stuff here and then come back and have them for building. So that's, most of this, except like that, produces the crystal oscillators for the fuel rods. This produces the beacons for the fuel rods. This is literally just a giant building for Fixsmith stuff that's not even working because I have it turned off. This produces parts that I use to build by hand, and this produces stuff, and a lot of this produces stuff to make batteries to fuel the drones so that they can, go from here to here. Because a lot of this stuff is loaded onto drones, like the Caterium over there, the beacons and the oscillators, and they're dropped off over there. Because I only need like 8 a minute or something for this over here. So I don't really mind having such a low throughput because I don't need to have like a giant one like I would for trains. And it's easier to set up drone ports than it is like trains. And so they're really good. They're really good for what they are right now. Yeah, see, now batteries are turned off because I have my fuel rods turned off. But anyway, the problem that I ran into was, for some reason, and I don't know why, this wasn't producing enough. It was either heavy oil. I think it was heavy oil residue. I wasn't producing enough to make turbo fuel. And so this isn't set up perfectly, and I'm okay with that. I don't really need it to be perfect. I started to try to make it look nice, and I get distracted by stuff. But so this produces 45 each, so 450 total a minute. See, I think I'm running out of heavy oil residue again, but 450 a minute turbo fuel if it was fully operational, and then that all goes into these 100 fuel generators. And so you can see my max consumption is huge. Most of that is coming from that building over there that's not even working, but the max consumption is super, super high, and my capacity is just barely above my consumption. And that's why I'm setting up the nuclear like I am anyway. Granted, a lot of that is turned off, and that's where I have 16 of the particle accelerators, and that's where also a pretty huge, hefty chunk of that potential consumption is coming from, or max consumption. But when I have the 30 nuclear power plants up and running, it's, it'll all work out in the end. So it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. It's a lot that I have to set up, and I'm slowly getting there. I've been getting distracted quite a bit, and that's okay. That's one thing I love about this game. All of the complicated math and stuff that you have to do, and just, it's fun. It's so much fun. And this game isn't even, as far as I'm aware, isn't that close to being done. Like, we're on update 5 of who knows. A lot of people see 5 as like the halfway point, but honestly, if you look at this is probably not. There's entire biomes yet that have to be redone. I think they're going to be redoing the red bamboo forest for the third time now. Not like a ton, if I recall from the things that they've been saying and showing, is it's mostly foliage updates. And I'm sure that has to partially do with the trees that you can't cut down. I do know that there is a biome up here that is out of frame that is 100% being completely redone. So it's just, there's a lot of stuff going on, I guess is to say. And now I might have enough. But this game is so much fun. And there's also the SAM ore stuff that hasn't been sorted out yet. There's God, what was it called? The superposition oscillators and the quantum computers are not implemented yet. Like, you can find them. I got mine through here the last 2 years. Love this, by the way. I think this is great. I wish they would do stuff like this more. Which I know that they're working on the game in general. And so I'm not like they need to drop everything and do this, but there, turn on. So we'll just let that do its thing. Is it gonna go? Oh, I'm stupid. I turned off self-driving. Anyway, there's also a ton of bugs, and they've been doing a great job of fixing a lot of those. I remember one bug in particular that sort of really fucked with me was the bug that caused you to fall through the world whenever you got near the red bamboo forest. You would just be walking, and then you would just fall forever and then die, obviously, because there is a kill box at a certain point. But I think they fixed that within 24 hours. Like, it was fast. And the community managers are funny as hell, but they also do such a great job of explaining what's going on and, telling people out, straight up out front, we are working on this, or we're never going to add this, like golf. And I wish more games worked like this, and this game definitely has a tone and a feel about it that the people who are making this game care very deeply about it, and not only about the game but the people who play the game. And I don't know anything about the office culture specifically, but they all sound like they get along very, very well, and that's something that you definitely can feel in a game. Like if people hate each other or don't like each other or aren't getting along at work, you can definitely, as weird as it sounds, like you can tell like when a product comes out. And so there are games that I play that are pretty disappointing on some aspects, because you can feel that the game just doesn't have the same level of care either put into it because the people making it don't care, or they are unable to put the amount of effort and love and whatever you want to say, like because of corporate or because of higher up people. A great example, and probably the one that does come to mind for me personally, is Sims 4. And as much as I love that game, and I have put so many hours into it, a lot of it feels pretty shallow. And I know a lot of people complain about this all the time, and this is probably just parroting or whatever you want to say. But there's I care a lot about the Sims games because they were among the first games that I ever played, and they're still to this day among some of my favorites. The fourth one just doesn't hit the same way or the same notes or whatever you want to say that some of the last ones did, like Sims 3, for example. Some of the stuff that you can do in that game, and I have the Sims 3, like I can fully play it right now if I wanted, and to some extent the Sims 2, and I'll get to that in a second. But I guess even the Sims 2 and the Sims 1 as well, they have this level of not only difficulty but also just wackiness and randomness. Not only do they feel like you are in control, but at the best times they also feel like you're completely out of control. And I hate games that are hard for the sake of being hard, or difficult for the sake of being difficult, or whatever. I like very casual, laid back games, and The Sims in some capacity is very laid back, especially compared to stuff like Call of Duty, blah, 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 blah. But the Sims 4 is just, it's so flat. You sit there and stuff just doesn't happen. I don't really quite know how to explain it. So we'll take an example. Sims 3, you could go on adventures around the world. You could go to, and I'm just going to use the real world locations because it's just easier. And I know they have names and I don't remember them. It's fine. But you could go to France, or you could go to Egypt, or you could go to China, and you had the ability to go to these locations. And not only could you travel to these locations, you could do exclusive things in those locations, like juice making, but we all know it was wine because it was France. You know what that is. I know what that is. They know what it is. These kids that play the game know what it is. But you could make wine, and you could grow special grapes to make the wine, and that definitely added a level of not only complexity, because it wasn't like, oh, you have a set list of recipes to make from and you can only make that. Like, you could throw whatever you wanted into those things and then actually make the wine and stuff. And I thought that was neat because you could mix and match different flavors and different fruits and all that stuff. And then you had the tomb exploring in technically all of them. All of the locations had it to a degree. It was just, it felt more so that Egypt was more heavily that, whereas France was more about the other stuff. But then you also had like the China location where you could do all of that stuff as well. Shit, how am I gonna do this? Could I go? I could go like this and then just, yeah. Anyway, you had the, you know, martial arts thing that you could only learn in China, and was it like not taekwondo, but it was like karate or something, I forget, whatever it was. But you could only learn that in China, and you know, that definitely adds a certain level of complexity because you have to go there to do it. And that was hot. And if I remember, you couldn't do any of the winemaking stuff unless you went to France to get the necessary machines or whatever, like the actual like nectar making machines. And then when you went to Egypt, I forget if there was something specific about that one, but there were, all in all, you had all of these special things for all these different locations that you could only do in these locations. And then on top of that, you had, you know, tons and tons and tons and tons of these like collectible gems and other things. The gems were the ones that were most interesting to me because there was like probably like 40 gems. That might actually be an over exaggeration, but then you had all these different cuts that you could get of these gems, and then it expanded even further with other expansion packs, and it really added like a very interesting side bits or whatever you want to call it that you could do. Side quests, yes, that's what I was thinking about. But they added traps like when you were exploring tombs, which is an extra way that you could die, and you could only, you know, you actually had to sort of think about what you were doing and where you were going, and is your sim soaked in water, because then, you know, they won't catch on fire either at all or as easily. I can't remember which specifically, but it was a thing you had to think about, and you couldn't just go and do stuff. Whereas like in The Sims 4, the expansion that they did add is cool for the exploring, but it just doesn't quite hit or feel the same. It's not bad. Like I don't want to sit here and say that it was like a bad expansion pack or whatever. It just didn't have the same feeling, and it's a little disappointing. I would have rather had seen, because it just feels like there's so much missing. I would rather have seen like a full-on expansion of travels, because then you have Snowy Escape, and that one is like something about traveling, but it doesn't feel like you are really traveling, I guess. I don't know. Something just feels off, and I really don't know how to explain it. But then you have other stuff, and I know there are certain groups of people out there who don't prefer supernaturals and stuff in their Sims games, and that's fine. You know, some people want to play it like a realistic life simulator. I want to play it personally. I want to play it like The Sims, which is just on the border of real life, but also just having some crazy, wacky, spontaneous things that are mythologically possible, such as like the fairies and the werewolves and the vampires. That stuff seems like a staple of the Sims, you know, because they had fairies and vampires in the first one. I thought I just heard a door. Is he home? It'd be really early for him to be home. No. Well, weird. Anyway. And And Magic was in the first one, but it was an expansion all on its own. And so if you didn't want those things, you didn't need to have them. Where in The Sims 2, it got a little different. I'm not a huge fan of how it was handled in The Sims 2. It's not bad. It's just I think The Sims 1 handled it better, and to some extent The Sims 3, but where the expansions themselves are production are tailored to a theme. And again, The Sims 3 sort of had this going for it. We're gonna need that one. And what I mean by this is in The Sims 3, vampires were added with nightlife, but they were greatly enhanced with the do I want this to go to like here or here? Can I go to that one? Oh, I can. And can I still? I can, yes. They were greatly enhanced with the introduction of the supernatural pack. That's what it was. And I think that's great. It was a really, really good way to handle that situation. And because a lot of people are not fans of supernatural stuff, it was a great way to bundle it all together so that somebody like me who loves that stuff, I really do. I do. I think it's fun. I think it's weird and fantastic and whimsical and whatever you want to say. Like, I love Harry Potter. And that's part of it. It definitely helps to like that kind of stuff. But it was great because if you were somebody who does not care for that stuff, you don't have to get it. You really, you don't have to buy that pack, or you don't have to do any of that stuff. And it came with these items and theming and stuff that I really enjoy, like this old Victorian look to stuff. My brain is not functioning and it's getting worse by the minute. Cool. My throat's also freaking out from talking so much. I need to start streaming more often. It really it really helps get rid of this problem, but I'm gonna have the problem until I do it more. So anyway, the Into the Future was a similar boat where if you don't like the idea of doing that, you don't have to get the pack, and that is okay. And The Sims 4 is handling stuff in a way that I'm not a fan of because, so this all has like a very long rounded about point that I need to get to sooner. If I want a supernatural pack, I can't have it. I have to get vampires. I have to get, and that's $20. And then I have to get the Realm of Magic pack, and that's an additional $20. And like, yeah, you can say these are on sale, but we're going to take this at base value. And the problem now is that, that's $40 for 2 packs, whereas in The Sims 3, for $40, I have 2 occults. I have vampires and witches, and I'm a bitch. You have vampires and witches, and that's it. You don't have anything else. And so now you run into this problem. Well, now I'm missing fairies and werewolves, and I think some other stuff. But I'm not going to get too far into that. But I've spent $40. I have half as much content as I did in The Sims 3. And I don't know the total number of build items. The Sims 4 obviously has so much more build stuff in it than The Sims 3 did. As long as you don't include the Sims 3 store, which we're not going to talk about because it's its own beast. It really is. You can't compare it to stuff in The Sims 4 because The Sims 4 doesn't have an equivalent yet. kits are getting there. I will say kits are very much getting there. And we can talk about kits another time, but the long of the short is here we are spending $40 for half as much content because we still don't have fairies and werewolves. And I know a lot of people want werewolves, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't be added. I don't think they should be a whole pack of their own. I think werewolves should be handled because they are already in the boat that they are in. And what I mean by that is The Sims 4 has already kind of created a situation where occults are separate. They are not together where you have vampires and witches and werewolves and fairies all in one pack like it should have been. It's not in an expansion pack. They're now in these like game packs or whatever. Because you already have it set up that way, you should not make a werewolf game pack. Potentially. Because I don't see there being enough content for that to be justified. I can't think of a reason to have werewolves added to the game at all, other than just for fun and storytelling purposes. Because they, in The Sims 3, they didn't really have a purpose. They just existed. And The Sims 4 doesn't have the system that The Sims 3 had, which was like a lunar system, and it was really fun. Sorry, my throat is freaking out from talking so much. Sorry. Hold on, I need to like mute myself so I can like fix my throat. Sorry. Didn't even help. But they had this lunar system and it really did some fun, interesting things with the game because it affected how, not only how you played with the specific occult, it affected how the world would react around you, especially if you were an occult. And so what I mean by that is if you were a werewolf, I don't remember if you were forced to be turned into your werewolf form or if you just had better, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't recall because I didn't play with werewolves that much. Like they just, there wasn't stuff to do. But anyway, the witches, if I recall, had like a stronger powers or they recharge faster, and then the same thing with fairies and vampires, I think had stronger powers and stuff. But on the inverse, on a not full moon, your powers would be weaker. And so you'd have to, there was a punishment. And yeah, it's not in your control what the moon is doing, but it's more so that you have to plan for that. You can't just go out and do stuff on those nights or whatever. Like you have to prepare. You have to be conscious of what day it is and what the lunar cycle is and how stuff is going. And on a full moon, zombies would show up. And I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag. I like the idea of the zombies showing up. I just think it was handled very oddly because once a week you would have zombies showing up, destroying your house. So good and bad, I guess. It's kind of a coin flip on that one, but the point being, werewolves just kind of didn't need to exist, at least in the way that they did. And so I need more of those fucking things. And so it was weird. They didn't have a purpose, whereas fairies sort of. I'm gonna have to pee so much later. Fairies kind of had a point. They were mostly about mischief, but also partially about gardening. And that was really cool. Whereas you look at vampires, and I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory, but basically vampires were, you couldn't go out during the day. You had to stay in during the day, and then you went out at night and all that fun stuff. And you could turn other people into vampires, and it was a whole very specific way of playing the game. And they sort of filled their own little purpose. And then you look at witches, and I guess like vampires, they kind of have their own thing, like being able to cast spells and stuff. And I think vampires partially were able to manipulate moods and stuff. Emotions in The Sims 4, but moods in The Sims 3. But they also had their own unofficial purpose of alchemy. And I think anybody could do alchemy, including fairies and stuff. I think anybody, literally anybody could do them. But it was sort of... they kind of went hand in hand. I think witches learned it faster or something like that. And this is even shown even harder in The Sims 4, where witches are the only people who can learn alchemy. But again, they filled a purpose. And then fairies were kind of had these two purposes as well, as where they filled the mischief niche partially. It feels like fairies weren't quite finished. Or at least they didn't have the full potential that they could have. And I think this is something that could be elaborated on very well in The Sims 4. But they also had some benefits of being able to garden better, I think. They were able to like upgrade crops or something like that, but increase the quality or something. But again, werewolves didn't fill any niche as far as I'm aware. And you really can, in a way. Like, there are things that you could do. I just don't quite know what, or at least I don't have like a strong argument for them to be added, where I could make a pretty decent argument for fairies, because again, they have this ability to fill the mischief niche that it kind of exists in The Sims 4. But what I mean by this is that, you know, you could be this playful trickster fairy, you know, or you could be this very in tuned with the earth type of a fairy, whatever. There are potential play styles and potential gameplay aspects to be elaborated upon, creating more gameplay time and more interesting things, which is very much needed in The Sims 4. But with werewolves, not so much. Without the lunar system, it gets a little dicey. It's definitely something that I think that they would have to add, and I think should be added just for free in general. Kind of like the calendar system was added for free. And what I mean by this is I would love for them to add the full moon to potentially do some very interesting things. Because I think in real life, stuff is a little more hectic when there's a full moon. I don't know if it's scientifically proven. I don't know if it's a superstition or what. But when I worked in a call center for internet repair, I swear to God, fucking any full moon, shit would just be worse. Like, in every way possible, stuff was just worse. Stuff was happening more. People's internet was breaking more. People were being a lot meaner or weirder or whatever. Stuff just happens more. Good and bad, I guess. I don't really know. But stuff just was a lot crazier on a full moon versus a regular day. And especially, like, I think one of the most nerve-wracking times for a full moon, specifically at that job, was, if I recall, and I might not quite be accurate on this, but I believe it was a Friday night on Halloween, and it was a full moon. We were literally expecting the whole building to like catch on fire. Like, we were all freaking out, thinking something horrible was going to happen, because that's just how that shit was. It was just nuts on a full moon. Fortunately, and oddly enough, it felt like a big cosmic joke. Nothing happened. It was literally one of the slowest days the entire year that we had. And we were like freaking out, thinking something was going to happen. And it sort of like psyched us out so badly that I think that was the thing that went wrong, is that we had psyched ourselves up so much that we were like going nuts. And but anyway, I think it would be interesting for them to add the full moon to The Sims 4, because I think there are things that you could do. I don't really know if they want to mess with like how bright it is outside and stuff, because that feels a little weird, but you could definitely add certain interactions and things. You could make, you know, again, crazier stuff happen during a full moon, but I would definitely add the full moon to the base game, also because it could enhance the way that the other occults work, especially the vampires and the witches, which are currently in the game, and potentially fairies if they were to get around to them. But the reason why is because, you know, they could have stronger spells, or they could have better chances at accomplishing their things. I'm not really sure. Like, say you're in a battle, like a wizard battle or something, like your sim specifically could have a higher chance of winning or something. I don't, you know, I know that seems a little biased, being that you'd have to be playing that sim or something, but you the idea is there that things could be more interesting during a full moon, and they could either make it so that the charge on your witch and wizard, warlock, whatever you want to say, spellcaster sims builds faster, or they could make it so that it builds slower as a net positive reason to have that. I don't, you know, because you don't necessarily want the charge to be higher, but also maybe you do. It just depends on how you play, and that's a whole thing that could be elaborated on further. I think spellcasters definitely could use an update in the sense that they need to have just a little bit more depth to them. I think vampires are pretty good. I think there could definitely be some balancing things to sort of incentivize more play styles. And this sounds, you know, The Sims isn't supposed to be complicated, but it feels so flat in general. I don't know how to explain it, but oh shit, this bitch is on his way home. The fairies could definitely, you know, benefit from the moon phases as well, which is why I think it would be great to add to the base game if they added fairies, of course, because, you know, maybe their pranks cause the moodlets to last longer, or maybe their pranks are a lot more violent, causing, you know, instead of just the toilet spraying water, maybe the toilet catches on fire. I don't fucking know. Or maybe, you know, if they're like a gardening fairy, instead of slightly increasing the quality by like just an arbitrary number, I'm not saying this is for balance purposes, this is probably way too low, but instead of increasing the quality of the plant by, you know, 5%, maybe it does it by 20, or instead of 10%, maybe it's 20%, or instead of 15%, maybe it's 25%, or something. You know, there's a potential for more interesting things, or, you know, maybe they can only revive dead plants on a full moon because that's when their magic is the strongest, that's when they're more in tune with the earth and they have the ability to do that stuff. You know, maybe that's a thing too. Maybe spellcasters and vampires and whatnot and fairies can only do certain things during a full moon. Or by, you know, if you were to add werewolves, maybe they work backwards from that. Maybe they are unable to do certain things during a full moon because they are forced to be a werewolf on a full moon, and, you know, their social interactions fail more often, and maybe they are a lot more aggressive or something during that time as well. Like, there's so much potential for interesting things to be done and had with the game. It just feels like such an unfortunate it feels so unfortunate that it sort of falls flat, and not in a great way, which it's not like falling flat is a great thing anyway, but I feel like you understand what I'm trying to say. They have so much potential for stuff. It just is not there. werewolves again don't have like a purpose, but maybe their purpose is to suck. Maybe their purpose is to not be fun in the conventional sense. Like, you know, like I said, you're forced to become a werewolf. Your interactions, they're uncontrollable because the game lacks consequences. Maybe the consequence of being a werewolf is being a werewolf. I don't know. There's room for potential and opportunity there. I just think werewolves shouldn't be a game pack as much as they should be handled the way that mermaids are, added to a full expansion, because they feel like they're not quite big enough to warrant their own game pack, because with witches or spellcasters, they have their own theming and style, and vampires do too, and even fairies to some extent I could see being their own game pack, because you have the potential for furniture items and stuff to be built around them. But like werewolves don't really have a theme. Like they're just werewolves. And they already have like the abandoned house stuff built up from vampires and stuff. But some bitch just got home, so I better stop streaming. But thanks for everybody who stopped by and followed and stuff. I'll see y'all later.